Imagine a company so powerful its value is bigger than the entire economy of most countries. That company is Apple. Starting in a humble garage, this tech giant is now the world's most valuable company, worth over a staggering $3 trillion. How did they pull it off? Was it pure genius, some clever business moves, or something else entirely that most people miss? The real story might just blow your mind. Apple's incredible climb is a masterclass in having a clear vision, taking big risks, and having perfect timing. But it's also a story about playing the global finance game, grabbing economic opportunities, and becoming a branding legend. Let's peel back the layers and explore the real secrets behind Apple's massive success, the parts of the story you rarely hear about. Let's rewind to 1976. Two guys named Steve Jobs and Wozniak started Apple in a garage. Their dream was simple but huge: put a personal computer in every home. The Apple I and Apple II computers got them started, but their early success didn't last. By the mid-1980s, Apple was in trouble. They even kicked out their own visionary founder, Steve Jobs. At that point, nobody could have guessed this struggling company would one day rule the world. Now, jump forward to 1997. Apple was literally about to go bankrupt. And then, in a dramatic return, Steve Jobs came back to the company he started. He brought with him an intense, focused vision and wasn't afraid to make huge, risky changes. The launch of the iMac in 1998 was the first sign of a comeback. But that was just the beginning. Apple's journey to $3 trillion is often chalked up to its constant innovation. Think about it. The iPod in 2001 completely changed how we listen to music. Then, the iPhone in 2007 didn't just shake up the smartphone market. It created a whole new world around it. And the App Store, which came out a year later, locked in Apple's power by giving developers a place to create and sell their apps. But here's the thing. Innovation alone isn't the whole story. Other companies like Microsoft and Samsung were innovating too. So what made Apple so different? It was their unique talent for mixing amazing technology with an experience that just feels good to use. Apple products are more than just gadgets. They're symbols of style and status, perfectly blending form and function. And let's talk about their branding. It's a masterclass in connecting with people on an emotional level. From their famous Think Different campaign to their clean, simple product designs, Apple has always presented itself as more than just a tech company. It's a lifestyle brand that speaks to our identity and what we aspire to be. Just look at the Apple logo. It's simple, elegant, and you know it the second you see it. It represents quality and new ideas. When you walk into an Apple store with its bright, open design, it feels more like an experience than just shopping. Even the way they package their products feels luxurious. This obsession with every little detail has built an army of loyal customers who are happy to pay more for the Apple experience. Now, while innovation and branding are key, Apple's journey to $3 trillion couldn't have happened without some serious financial magic. And this is where the story gets really interesting. Apple has always known how to use its massive pile of cash. At one point, the company had over $200 billion in cash and investments. That's more money than most countries have. Instead of just letting it sit there, Apple used it strategically. For example, they started an aggressive program of buying back their own stock. This pushed the share price up, making investors happy and boosting confidence in the brand. Another, more controversial strategy was their use of offshore accounts to lower their tax bill. By keeping a huge chunk of their profits outside the United States, Apple has saved billions in taxes. It's a move that's drawn a lot of criticism, but it's also allowed the company to pour more money back into research, development, and buying other companies. Apple's skill in managing its global operations is also incredible. They've built complex supply chains, working very closely with manufacturers in China to keep costs down while making sure every product is high quality. Even during huge global crises like the pandemic, Apple showed how resilient it was, managing supply chain disruptions better than almost anyone. This just proved their financial and operational strength. But perhaps one of Apple's most brilliant moves was creating an entire ecosystem that keeps users coming back. If you own an iPhone, you probably also have an Apple Watch, AirPods, or a MacBook. All these devices are designed to work together perfectly. This makes it really hard and inconvenient for you to switch to a competitor's products. The App Store and iCloud are also a huge part of this ecosystem. By offering services that make their devices even more useful, Apple has created many different ways to make money. In 2023 alone, Apple's services division, which includes things like Apple Music and Apple TV Plus, brought in over $80 billion in revenue. That's an incredible amount from just services. But behind all the success, Apple's journey has been filled with risks. The company has faced a lot of heat over working conditions in its factories, privacy issues with its products, and investigations into whether it's a monopoly. Any one of these could have seriously damaged Apple's reputation and its stock price. And then there's the problem of market saturation. There are already over 1 billion active iPhones in the world. This means it's getting harder to sell more and more new phones. Apple's shift towards services is a smart response to this, but it's not an easy path. The competition in streaming and cloud storage is intense, and staying on top will require constant innovation and quick adjustments. Apple's rise to $3 trillion was marked by a few key turning points. The switch to their own M-series chips, starting with the M1 in 2020, was a total game changer. By designing their own processors, Apple gained more control over performance and cost. This allowed them to set new standards for the entire computer industry. Another huge moment was the launch of 5G-enabled iPhones. This didn't just boost sales. It put Apple at the forefront of the next big wave in technology. These kinds of strategic decisions show how good Apple is at seeing where the market is going and getting there first. Apple's impact goes far beyond just its products. As the world's most valuable company, it plays a massive role in the global economy. Its stock is a huge part of major indexes like the S&P 500 and NASDAQ. So, when Apple's stock moves, it affects not just its investors, but the entire financial world. On top of that, Apple's focus on sustainability has set a new standard for other big companies. The company has a goal to be completely carbon neutral across its entire business, including its supply chain, by 2030. Some critics say it's more for public relations than a real commitment, but there's no doubt that these efforts can inspire real, positive change. So, what's the big takeaway from all this? Apple's $3 trillion story is a powerful lesson in vision, innovation, and smart strategy. It is a story of a company that pulled itself back from the edge of failure to become a global giant. But it is also a reminder of the complex challenges and responsibilities that come with that kind of success. For all of us, whether as individuals or business owners, Apple's journey has some valuable lessons. It shows us how important it is to be adaptable, the incredible power of a strong brand, and why we need to think about the long term. At the same time, it brings up the tough ethical questions that come with having so much power and influence. As we look at everything Apple has accomplished, we have to ask, what's next? In a world where technology is changing faster than ever, can Apple stay on top? Or will new challengers rise up to take its place? Only time will tell. But one thing is for sure, the Apple story is far from over. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this, please like and subscribe for more deep dives into the companies that shape our world.